So as you know, during this meeting, you're welcome to pose whatever question you would like by speaking a question or writing it in the chat box. I also have a couple of questions that were sent to me, which I will go over later on during this meeting. So let's start by turning our attention towards presence, doing nothing, being nobody, resting as being. Turn your attention to the sensation within your body, whichever way it's arising. An open listening space. Effortless, welcoming of your experience. Whichever way it's appearing right now. Noticing that is not interested in fixing anything. An innocent noticing. Being noticing. Whatever thoughts may appear to you, notice the spaciousness in which they appear. Thought appears within the aware space, and the thought is known. And is made out of this knowingness. The knowingness of the thought permeates the entire thought. Like hearing these words. Knowing, hearing. The knowing of the hearing permeates the entire hearing. No need to do anything. A thought may arise saying, well, what will I get out of it if I'm not doing anything? Simply noticing the thought. Noticing the sensation within your body. Sensation arising in the open space of awareness. The sun shining through the window. This perception arising within the space of awareness and completely permeated by I awareness. Whatever image arises, it arises within the space of awareness. No matter the shape of the image that appears, no matter the shape of the bodily sensation that appears, awareness is the same. The knowingness is the same knowingness. Whether it's a very gentle, sweet breeze, or whether it's a strong wind, it's the same aware space, the same knowingness, the same presence that is unaffected by whatever arises. Notice that about your experience. Notice that irrespective of whatever thought or perception appears to you, this moment, the next moment, the next moment, awareness, I awareness is the same. The images may change. The images that appear to you may change. They do change. But the I, this transparent presence, is not augmented or diminished, irrespective of whatever images appear. You may be perceiving a fire, but awareness does not burn. You may be perceiving a rainfall, but awareness does not get wet. You may be perceiving a concern, a bodily feeling, sensation, a concern, but awareness does not get concerned. You may be perceiving a fear and anxiety, a desire, but awareness does not fear, does not desire, has no concerns. Even though you imagine yourself to be in danger, even though you may feel the sense of doom or the sense of lack, you is only one real you awareness. Remain as you are. When you imagine yourself to be somebody, you will also imagine there is a sense of risk. There is danger for the somebody in the world. Like in your night dream, you may imagine you are falling off a cliff. You are bound to experience the terror of falling down the cliff. But all along, as consciousness, as presence, as what you truly are, you are not falling off the cliff. Nothing happens to what you truly are. There is no cliff for what you truly are. So turn your attention to your body. Notice whatever contraction there may be, maybe in your shoulders, or your chest, your belly. Allow the sensation its complete freedom. Do not be concerned about fixing it, about repairing it. Simply relax as being. Allow it to be. Give it its complete freedom. It is in your complete allowing, which is your true nature, is effortless allowing, effortless being, effortless yesness. It is in your complete allowing, in your complete vulnerability, that everything is freed, released. In your availability. No need to seek any experience. Every experience that arises to you, as you get closer and closer to it, as you say yes to it, as you invite it to reveal itself, to express itself, to be all what it wants to be, it's revealed to be empty. But as soon as you want it to be different than what it is, as soon as you decide that you want it to be other than what it is, then you are engaged in effort and in busyness. You're looking for the right strategy that will provide you the experience that you think is favorable. There is no favorable experience from the point of view of what you truly are. There is no opposition from the perspective of I awareness. Everything is embraced, everything is allowed, everything is recognized as I awareness, taking on the form of this hearing right now, of this perception. Like in your night dream, you take on the form of a butterfly. Or you take on the form of a bear, or you take on the form of a lake, a river, a stream, or you can take on the form of somebody walking down the street in Calcutta. Everything that appears to you is made out of you, I. Awareness is aware space that takes on the form of minds, infinite minds, without ever leaving itself and becoming anything. You do not leave yourself and become an oak tree as you perceive an oak tree. You do not leave yourself and become a cloud as you perceive a cloud. And yet, the cloud is made out of yourself, is made out of I awareness. Without awareness, without knowingness, without beingness, there is no cloud. You are not an object, a separate object in time and space. In spite of thought insisting that yes, you are this mortal body mind. And it's so convincing because it makes you feel that you are mortal, although thinking and feeling tell you that you are mortal. Understand that thinking and feeling do not know you. They know nothing of you. You, meaning I awareness, know. I am the knowingness of thinking and feeling. I permeate thinking and feeling. I am the knowingness of thinking and feeling. Thinking and feeling do not know I. I know my dreams. I know my perceptions. My perceptions do not know I. Thus, whatever thinking and feeling says about you is what you are saying about yourself. In your dream, you say, oh, I'm a little boy, I'm being chased by a lion. I am running towards the tree. I hope I can make it in time. And so you feel the fear and the emotion, and you're running and you are hoping to reach the tree in time. And as that little boy running away from the lion towards the tree, you do not realize that you are not that little boy, that you are being dreamt, that you are a dream character within the spaciousness of awareness. All minds and all mind events, all sensations, like the bodily sensations right now, your bodily sensations, they refer to I. I, aware presence. This aware presence is not an object. There are no objects within aware presence. An object arises within the conceptual realm. Within the conceptual realm, we say tree, car, money, table, ocean. Within the conceptual realm, the realm of Namarupa names and forms, there is a multiplicity of conceptual forms which are made out of mind, meaning thinking, which is just a modulation of awareness, of presence, of beingness. Thought is made out of and permeated by the knowingness of it. It's made out of knowingness, it's made out of aware presence. When you say I, and you point at something, you are pointing away from I. When you say I and you point towards a body, or when you say I and you point towards your mother, when you say I and you point towards a thought or a memory, you are pointing away from I. There is no objective pointing to I, because I is not objective. I awareness is not objective. I is self-knowing. It knows itself as I. I know I am. Not I know I am somebody, not I know I am a man, a woman, a mother, a father. I know I am, period. I know I am. And that I is not a mortal body mind. Mortal body mind are what appears to you. It's made out of mind. Moment by moment, images, perceptions, and sensations are appearing and disappearing. Where was the thought that you had 2 minutes ago or 5 seconds ago? Where is the bodily sensation that you had 2 minutes ago? Moment by moment, frame by frame, appearing and disappearing, birth and death. In the realm of mind is an ongoing process. But I, awareness, is not mortal. I do not end when thought A ends. I do not start when thought B starts. I do not end when feeling or sensation A ends, nor do I start when sensation B starts. I has no beginning and ending. There is no beginning and ending to I. That which has no beginning and no ending is not an object. One could say that an object has a beginning and an ending. Like the beginning of an oak tree and then the ending of the oak tree after 100 years. One could say that. And when you imagine that you are the body mind, that you are somebody, that you are this person, then that imagination contracts itself within the body as a bodily sensation. Then you are sensing, you're feeling that you are this body. And when you're feeling that you are this body, then you're experiencing time and space. You experience yourself in time and you experience the concerns about decay, the concern about tomorrow, the concern about my future, and the worry and the regret. But all these worries and regrets and concerns, they belong to the imaginary belief that I am somebody. Hand in hand, it goes hand in hand, the concerns about I and the belief that I am somebody, immortal body mind, they go hand in hand. And what is overlooked is the reality of I, what I truly is, what the true significance of I is, which is not a form, not an object, just this transparent beingness, transparent aware presence. So the contemplation of what I am is not the contemplation of the content of thinking or the content of feeling. The contemplation of what I am is I contemplating I. It is not a non-objective contemplation. It is not a contemplation downstream. It's not a contemplation of experiences. It is a contemplation of reality. It's an upstream contemplation, the contemplation of the source, the essence, the truth, the reality of I, the source of all manifestation. A manifestation does not arise out of another manifestation. It is out of the unmanifest that all the dreams arise. Out of the dreamer, the dreams arise. But the dreams that arise, the experiences that arise to you, they do not define you, nor do they create a world outside of you. When you look closely at your experience, and you're perceiving a lake, it may seem the lake is out there 100 yards away. Although the lake is out there 100 miles away, on some level, your experience does not speak of 100 yards away. Your experience is that of complete intimacy. The intimacy of zero distance. You are perceiving your perception. Like right now, you are hearing, you're hearing. You are not hearing Magdi 100 miles away. You are hearing, you're hearing. You're experiencing your experience. Where is your hearing? What is it made of? Is it out there somewhere? Is your experience, are you experiencing something out there somewhere? Are you experiencing something outside of yourself? Is there anything coming at you? What is coming at you? Thoughts and images and sensations. Is it possible to embrace it all, to be open to it all? Awareness is borderless presence. It's effortless openness, effortless beingness. You already are open to it all. You as consciousness, as presence. Can you rest as that and allow that? Invite yourself to relax as that. Images may appear, thinking may arise. We give it its complete freedom. No struggle, no disputes, no effort, no travails, not trying to fix it. The more we try to fix it, the more we try to fix it, the more we have to fix it, the more it doesn't work, then we try this other method and that method and this method, seeking experiences. Seeking experiences is endless, is endless. We can never satisfy the mind with experiences, but we can pacify the mind by inviting it to recognize the peace of being that permeates it. The peace of being is I, not an experience, not something I've experienced. I've smoked a big joint, I had a big drug experience, I had a big satori. No. These may provide peaks, a peak, a glimpse into the peace of being, the peace of being our natural state, our true nature. Our true nature is peace, is the spaciousness of being. You see, it has no name, no gender, no age. I, not I, Magdi, not I, Joey, not I, Billy, not I, Mary. I, before the name, before the mind attaches to I a descriptor. That has no distinction in it. There isn't a better I or a worse I. I'm better than you. I'm better than what I was, how I was yesterday. I'm improving. I had a great experience. I'm awakening. That's not I. That is I somebody. I defined by the process of thinking and memory. But the process of thinking and memory cannot define me. It's a wrong definition. It's a mistaken definition. Because I am the knowingness of thinking and not the product of thinking. I am not the product of feeling. I'm not the product of a sensation or of an experience. I am the freedom of being, freedom of awareness, the presence of awareness. And that is non-phenomenal, is not seeking, is not lacking, is not accumulating. So maybe we can take whatever questions you may have, and then if I have the opportunity to go over a couple of questions that were sent to me. So if there are any questions.
Magdi?
Yes, hello, Zoe?
Hi.
Hello, Zoe.
Okay, so my question is, does anger and irritation always arise on behalf of the separate self? And I was listening to Francis talk about, you know, as just in his process, there was like his shyness dropped, but then there was like 5% that said, okay, I don't want to hang out with this person. Have you heard him tell that story?
No. I mean, I've heard him tell the story about his shyness, but I don't recall about not fundamental.
Well, and maybe, you know, I probably got it all garbled, but what I caught on to is like, okay, well, there's this little part that remains that gives us almost like guidance, but I don't know if that's the awareness. And I don't know, I've just been thinking a lot about that, yeah, does anger and irritation always arise on behalf of the separate self?
Yes.
Yes, that's clear.
Now, having said that, just from what you shared, there is wisdom in avoiding certain relationships, avoiding certain situations. Certain situations are abusive or are incongruent, are not harmonious, are disrespectful, and out of intelligence we say, you know, no to that, and we move in a different direction. I know that's not what you.
Yes, that's actually, that is what I was really getting at. Thank you.
Yes, yes.
I needed that reminder.
Yes, absolutely. You know, when somebody's standing on your foot, you know, your toe, you know, is very uncomfortable, and you move away out of that situation one way or the other. Similarly, when somebody is getting on your nerves.
Yes, that's the big one.
No to that. I mean, there are certain situations when you find yourself maybe at work or sometimes in the family, you know, in company of certain people who are really annoying. They're just rehashing stories, or they have backs to grind, or whatever it is. Maybe they need some, you know, some therapeutic help, and it may not be your bag, you know, that may not be something that you really are interested in. And so, yeah, the being, the piece of being, knowing yourself as the piece of being and being that piece does not mean that at the world body mind realm you're tolerating everything and everybody.
Okay.
No, I mean, you could find yourself in a situation where somebody is coming to I don't know, break into your car, and you're going to say, hey, you know, stop that, I'm going to call the police to you. You know, there is action that comes from the situation, but it's not an action that comes from fear or from a certain negative emotion, or from it doesn't come from a sense of personal danger. It comes from a certain clarity, and it's at that moment. It arises at that moment. So in that moment, you're sensing and you're feeling that, okay, there is a situation that requires your immediate action, and then that action is taken.
Okay, but it comes without the anger and irritation accompanying it, right?
Yes,
that clarity.
yes.
Okay.
There's not right. There isn't an anger, and there isn't you know, there could be like an annoyance. You know, it's annoying to have to deal with certain situations, but it's like when you're traveling, you know, in a plane for 12 hours or 10 hours or 8 hours, in my case even 5 hours, is something annoying at the body mind level, to just be strapped, the lower back, the legs, and but it's very situation appropriate, and it doesn't linger, and it's not there isn't a me story about it. There is just what's happening in that moment, and that may not be comfortable. It may require certain action. Often I get up and I walk in the aisle in the plane, stretch my legs, stretch my back. it may require certain action, and tolerate. You have to tolerate. Now, feeling angry, then you have an idea about right and wrong in your head, and a story about stuff and the other. In fact, we have no idea why this person is trying to break into our car. And we could judge them, but that's where the personal self does. It's like me and him.
Yeah.
This, although there may be a very valid reason for this person to break into my car, I'm still going to say, hey, don't break into my car. I'm going to call the police on you. But there's at the same time compassion. This compassion in that this other person is my very self. In different situations, in different circumstances, different year, different time, different space, I could be the one breaking into the car. Right. Wow. And somebody would tell me, hey, watch out, I'm going to call the cops on you. It's just, this is how it is. We are one. I mean, it's one consciousness. And although that is the case, in the dream we operate in a certain fashion, in a certain way that we all agree upon. We've all agreed that, to respect each other's space, each other's freedom, each other's, not throughout all the planet, but in many, at least in some places, we've agreed to honor and respect each other and to live according to certain principles.
Thank you, Magdi.
Okay, Zoe. Any question?
Maggie?
Yes.
Hi.
Hello, Kelly. Yes. Hello, Kelly.
Hello. Earlier, you said we can never satisfy the mind with experiences. When you use the word mind, is it always referring to that abstract thing that occurs in our body and mind type thing? The small mind, not the not the eye awareness, knowing.
Yes. Yeah. When I said the mind will never be satisfied with experiences, what I meant by that is that the mind is activity. The mind is the process of thinking and feeling and wanting and desiring and imagining.
Okay.
The mind is an activity. It's the activity of thinking and feeling. And satisfaction is the end of activity. Happiness, peace is not an activity. It is our true nature. It's not an activity. An activity is still processing, seeking, avoiding, gathering, accumulating, judging, comparing, etc. So when I said that the mind can never be satisfied with any activity, is that the mind is activity. And by the mind, in a way, one could say that I'm referring to the personal self, the sense of me, which really has no reality. It is just made out of activity. The personal self is the process of thinking and feeling. There isn't an actual separate self. There is no separate self as such outside of the activity of thinking and feeling.
Mm-hmm.
The activity of seeking and feeling is resisting and desiring. So we're resisting what is, we don't want what is, and we desire something else. We desire what is not. We desire a better house, a better partner, a better job, whatever. And we resist what's going on. Oh no, why is the coronavirus happening? Why is my boss doing this? Why is the president doing, etc.? So the mind is an activity of resisting and seeking. And so when I said that the mind cannot be satisfied with any activity, cannot be fulfilled with any activity, by that you can comprehend that the mind is activity, is the activity of seeking and resisting. And satisfaction, as I said a minute ago, happiness, peace and happiness is not an activity. It's a non-activity. It is what we refer to as our true nature, our essential self, the ground of being, the transparency of being, is peace and happiness. But when we imagine ourselves to be somebody, then we sort of step away from our essential nature, our true nature, and we are now in somebody, immortal body mind, and now we are seeking happiness. We are seeking the experience of happiness. We're seeking lots of money. We're seeking success. We're seeking enlightenment. We're seeking an experience or experiences. So we are now existing in time, because in seeking there is time, there is a future, the past and the future, and which is a mind impression. So when we leave our true nature, we are in activity. We are engaged in seeking and resisting. And noticing is a non-activity. Noticing is awareness. So whenever there is noticing, there is a non-activity. In other words, you have, at that moment, you're stepping out, not intentionally, but you have stepped out from the activity of wanting and desiring and becoming and seeking. And you've stepped into the spaciousness of awareness, which is noticing, the spaciousness of awareness, effortless presence. And the mind says, well, okay, now what do I do with that? What did I get out of it? In other words, the activity of thinking comes back and says, okay, well, what do I do with that now? How can I squeeze the goodies out of that? You see? And so now you're back in the activity of thinking and hoping and trying to figure out how can I get the goodies out of it. You see? It's a habitual tendency of the personal self to pull you back into activity. You see? And that entire process, we invite ourselves to notice, just the noticing of that. Simply the noticing. Noticing is a form of resting as this open space of awareness. Mirror-like, sort of spacious-like, without an intention. There isn't like a personal intention. Oh, I'm going to do that, and then I will become better, or I will get it, or I will be like this teacher, or like this, or like that. That's again the process of thinking, comparing, measuring. Yes. I'm going to turn my attention to the question that Ananda, Michael Kaufman, Michael writes, I read a piece by a teacher this morning wherein she makes a comment that those who consider life to be a dream may be spiritually bypassing the actuality that here we are in this situation. To me, that sounded a bit like bypassing the spiritual reality in favor of the apparent dream. So this teacher says, those who consider life to be a dream may be spiritually bypassing the actuality that here we are in this situation. And I just want to make a little comment before I talk about this question, is that my comment is not about that particular teacher or what this particular teacher is saying or trying to say. I'm just making a generic comment, my own personal comment. I don't want to reflect my comment onto this particular teacher. So I'm actually not mentioning the name of the teacher to maintain that respect for this teacher's message. Those who consider life to be a dream may be spiritually bypassing the actuality that here we are in this situation. You know, each one of us, Ananda, is on our own journey. Mm-hmm. It is possible for some of us to come to an understanding, a sort of a living understanding, a deep understanding, a true understanding that I refers to this aware presence. And that this understanding is not just something that I've heard somebody say or something that I like that idea is, and it's a living understanding. That as I refers to this aware presence. And so from that point of view, from that perspective of the actual experience of this person, they could say that whatever is appearing to them is dreamlike. Thought, the world, the sensations, the perceptions are dreamlike. And that expression that life is a dream, from where they are speaking from, they are referring to their experience of the reality of consciousness and of the quality of what appears to be nothing else but the substance, but made out of awareness itself. It does not have an actual reality outside of consciousness. Now, it could be also, Ananda, that somebody else along their journey who has not yet is not yet living this experience of being awareness, and who has heard the teaching that, oh well, life is a dream, the world, body, mind is a dream, may be drawn to that idea, may be drawn to that concept, to that belief, to that notion, and may although they do not have the living experience, may still say, oh, well, life is a dream. Now, they could be saying life is a dream, possibly out of a certain inkling that they have, that yes, it's a dream, although this inkling may not be fully established in their experience, they may have an inkling of that experience. Or it is also possible that they may be using this idea that life is a dream in order to avoid a certain unhappy or difficult situation that they're feeling right now, and they don't want to face it. They don't want to experience it. And so they find refuge. They find refuge in the notion that, well, it's all a dream anyways, you know, the suffering that I'm having is a dream. It's sort of, I would say that then in that particular situation, I would agree that there would be a certain spiritual bypassing whereby that particular individual is not ready to face or to experience or to enter or to be open to the situation that they're experiencing, and is rather interested in seeking refuge in that belief.
Right. That'd be the point.
Yes.
That'd be the value of the point being made in the.
Yes. I would also say that I would not paint the statement life is a dream, to be spiritual bypassing. I would not use this one brush, one color to cover the whole thing. There are nuances to that. Also, in being a teacher, being a friend, we are always inviting each other to take that next step, whatever, you know, as a way of speaking, you know, to journey further. And there is love in that. There is love, and the power of love, the draw that we feel, we can sense the love, and when we sense the love, we open up to it to a certain extent, to the extent that we are capable of opening up. We're opening up. But when we're experiencing a judgment, it's a different reaction that we have.
I see. Are you saying well, you didn't read I didn't actually put an article. I just put the bare bones of it there. You know, the simple question.
Yes.
With the whole context of it was like, well, I'll just let you go on. I'm sorry.
No,
I get your point.
Yes. So I think I've said what I wanted to say about that.
Well, do you mean that the love incorporates, like even in non-duality, in non-dual reality, the love still incorporates the situation and everything, all the feelings, the situation? It's like lovingly guiding someone. Don't just be hung up on a concept and then dismiss. Is that what you're saying? I'm not sure what you mean, where the love comes in
yes,
this.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah. When sometimes, again, I'm not talking about any particular teacher. I'm just, yes. When sometimes we say, well, you know, people who say life is a dream are spiritual bypassers.
Right.
I'm not saying that this particular teacher said that. Again. One of the things that arose as I was reading this was somehow the love wasn't there. There is a way of speaking about this topic that is more helpful, let's say. But again,
some people speak in a kind of polarized way. It's just their way, I think.
Yes. Okay. So I don't want to go into how every teacher has their way, their style. So I really don't want to comment much about that.
Right.
So
I think I got your point. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Nanda.
But it was like, our friend Sebastiano said something about this too. He said, the awesomeness and the immensity of the recognition of our true nature. He says, I don't see any reason to, put that on the back shelf in favor of the concern, any concern or anything. And I think it's possible to keep I really perceive that you do in your in your teaching, keep it 100% up front while addressing other things.
Yes. I read Sebastiano's and I liked what he said. Yes, that resonates. Yes.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yes. Okay, Ananda. Nice to see you, Ananda. Yes. Any questions?
Magdi?
Yes. Hello.
It's Holly.
Hello, Holly.
Hi.
Hello, Holly.
I know everybody has been asking over recent songs about the situation with the coronavirus, so I know you've already given a lot of guidance on that. What I'm finding with my own experience is that there's a lot of emotional response happening, and I know at times you've talked about that when you're really deeply into an emotional response, it's hard to also be doing contemplation and practice at those times. So, I've been doing a combination of trying to, do things like yoga and walking and things to help soothe the system a bit. And, but I'm also aware on some level that this must be a particularly fertile, potent opportunity for practice. So I don't know if you can talk about more, I guess, about how to deal with both the emotional fluctuations, but also the richness of what's being presented to us as a practice.
Yes, Holly. Yes. What you are doing in terms of, you said you're doing yoga, going for walks, and whatever else you're doing to sort of manage, the body mind, in that situation. Sometimes people listening to music or reading some of the scriptures. So yes, there is a level to engaging with the situation where we're sort of working with the body mind, with oxygenating the body mind, doing yoga, going for walks, and listening to some gentle music and so on. So that's good. Every person has their way of dealing at that level, at the lived level, how they're living that situation. Looking, if you have a beautiful view, look over nature. It gives you a sense of peace. If you are living more in a city and get some rest, because sometimes noise, activity of the city are too much. You need to get some rest. If you have a rooftop, you can go up on the roof and look over the rooftop. So there are certain activities that are appropriate to the situation and to every person that operate, that can help at that level. Now there is another dimension, another level, which is much, much more important, which is the contemplation of the reality of what's happening. So there are obviously there is a certain situation unfolding with the virus. And the mind is full of stuff about it. The television, the news, people talking, people are calling us. They never called us before, now they're calling us about it. So it's obviously the mind is very active. There's a lot of stuff happening. But at the mind level, there's always something happening. And there is a possibility to also look in a different direction than what is happening at the mind level. Obviously, everything that we are experiencing relates to I. It relates to I. Of course, there is a body aspect, a body-mind aspect to it. But then it's impacting me. Impacting me meaning what me? What me? What I imagine myself to be. Because there is the imagined me, meaning what I think I am, what I feel I am, what I sense I am. And there is no denying that. But there is also the I that is aware of what I sense myself to be. There is the I that is aware of what I think I am. In other words, there is a dimension to my experience that is aware of my experience. There is my experience, meaning my thoughts, my images, my feelings, my worries, my concerns, my conversations, what I heard on the news. There is all of that. And there is something that is aware of that. That is our experience. And when we turn our attention to that, we're turning our attention to something that is not in the mind. We're turning our attention to that which is aware of mind, but which is not contained in the mind. It is, I'm aware of this perception, but I am not an object in this perception. There are things that are happening in the realm of perception. There are things that are happening in the world. There are things that are happening within the realm of thought. But within the realm of that which is aware, meaning, in other words, within the realm of awareness, there is just awareness. There isn't a happening. There isn't nothing, there isn't anything that is happening, which is not a denial of whatever is happening in the world, body, mind. Whatever is happening in the world, body, mind is happening. We recognize it. But there is also the recognition of that which is awareness, which is aware of happenings, but which is not a happening. So you will find that whatever concerns that you're experiencing, worries and fears, emotions you're having, they pertain to images that you are perceiving. They pertain to thoughts that you are perceiving. They're pertaining to some events you are perceiving. They do not pertain to awareness. You follow?
Yeah.
So the next is to understand, and you have a lot of time now to contemplate, that I is awareness. Awareness is not just some concept that we're talking about here, like as if some abstract thing. Awareness refers to I perceive, I hear, I am aware, awareness, I'm aware. And awareness has no name, it's not called holy. We have no problem with the body holy being called holy. I call the body holy, holy. I call the body Magdi, Magdi. You call the body holy, holy. You call the body Magdi, Magdi. We have no problem with that. We call the oak tree, oak tree. We call the palm tree, palm tree. We call the robin, robin. The cardinal, we call it cardinal. We have no problem with that. But awareness, I that is aware of perceiving the oak tree or perceiving the cardinal, that has no name, it has no form, it has no color, it has no shape, it has no age. I is the reality of experience. The robin is experience. The flight of the bird is experience. It comes and goes. The rain, the weather, the sunshine comes and goes. The galaxies come and go. That is experience, which we refer to as mind. But I do not come and go. So then we look at the fear. Why is there a fear? The fear makes perfect sense. Because I, as a body, I, as a population, is getting infected with a virus. You see. But when I is a population, when you take consciousness or awareness and you make it, you define it as bodies and minds, you define it as a body. It always starts with I defining myself as this body mind. Whenever I define myself as a body mind, then I will experience the happiness when the virus is killed and the fear when the virus is not killed. I will be experiencing the happiness when I win the lottery, the unhappiness when the promotion is given to somebody else. I will experience the happiness when my partner loves me, the unhappiness when my partner loves the next door neighbor, etc. The wheel of samsara, the swing of the pendulum, happiness and unhappiness, keeps swinging as long as the I is confused to be with the body-mind. So there is the possibility, and this is what the sages talk about all the time, there is a possibility of being beyond the fear, of being beyond the mind, of being knowingly beyond the mind. not as a bypass, not as an escapism, not as some sort of new experience, but of realizing your freedom. You're realizing your true nature, which is the freedom of the self. And you realize your true nature by contemplating, what am I truly? What am I truly? Am I the body-mind that I perceive? Am I the bundle of thoughts and sensations and feelings that I perceive? Or am I that which perceives? Now, having said that, in the dream, meaning here we are, we have partners, we have friends, we have neighbors, we do our best in extending our help whichever way we can, in taking the precautions that are necessary in order not to cause harm unto others. We do that, but what is, and of course we extend our love for everybody and our best wishes for everybody, but above all, we need to be a channel for the light of truth, for the God's light, the wisdom of the self to shine through. And it shines through us. It shines through us via our reflections, our inquiry, our contemplation. That is how we become a channel of light, a channel of God's light, a channel of joy, of peace, of happiness unto others. The greatest happiness you can share with others is your own happiness. The greatest peace you can share unto others is your own peace. And when you realize your own peace, you realize the peace of being, the peace of your true nature. And when you are living that, when that is living itself through you, it touches everybody. Everybody is affected by that. And when you are contracting within your fear and within your emotion, unknowingly, you are contributing to the stream of sorrow. You are contributing to the human realm of concern and worry. This is a great opportunity to look deeper and dive deeper beyond the bubble of personal concerns. There is the vastness of the ocean of being. Borderless aware presence. The peace of being, the love, the beauty, the tenderness, the freedom. Freedom from concern, freedom across the board. Knowing myself is complete surrender. The dream is enlightened via our awakening. When you wake up from the dream, that lion that was chasing you is just a gentle butterfly, has no teeth, just a beautiful colors and shapes and shades. So our business is, we don't struggle against the emotions and the feelings, we allow them. Yes, they're not personal. In a way, when we experience fear, we're experiencing the universal fear. We're experiencing the human experience is flowing through us. But we don't hold on to it. We don't try to fix it. We remain what we are. We are what we are, this open space of awareness. So yes, we can sense the fear, but we don't hold on. We don't resist. So maybe, and as we don't resist it, this fear is just some little vibration that's passing through. And in time, none of it ceases to be what it was. Nothing ever has happened or will happen to what I truly am.
Thank you.
Yes, Holly. Yes, John. Hello, John.
Oh, hi.
Hey, John.
My phone says done speaking here on, I guess that must be the last caller, Holly.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, I was confused.
Oh, okay.
It's probably a little late to ask this question. Maybe another sign you could address this if possible, if you want. Often I hear when I speak with others in the non-duality, a lot of times there's this sort of struggle, which is
struggle, you said?
Yeah, there's this sort of struggle of, and you point to it very well, saying, it's the cause is, I guess people say, a person, and the realization that isn't who I am makes, I think, in some ways makes the struggle start to dissolve. But the struggle being that I think is having what I'll call pain, or not what I want, or wanting something different, versus, say, pleasure. And of course, that's dividing it and making it two. But then another division seems to be sometimes also is that the idea that I can't have pain or emotional suffering or other types of things. I can't have those thoughts. I can't have those, and I need to get to, I know I've gone over this with you before, and you've gone over with me. And there is progress on this, if I can say there is, that I think if you could speak sometimes about the idea that one can have pain and pleasure. They're created by circumstances. They're created by thought. They're saying this is good or this is bad. But the only constant is who I truly am. There's the only one reality, and that is peace and happiness. So it's having the peace and the undisturbed peace and happiness, and what seemingly appears to be pain at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes. I understand the question, John.
Yeah. I realize that, I mean, when I have insight and when it happens for me, and it happens more often than not now, is that in a way, on an intellectual way, you can see it, but you can also see it because things start to dissolve. I can't have the two. The only constant is my true reality is happiness, is peace, is love.
Yes. So first, maybe we can clarify that happiness is not an experience.
Yes.
It is what we are, what I is, what consciousness is. Another word for consciousness is happiness, peace and happiness. So it's not an experience that somebody is having. It is what I am. While pleasure and pain, they relate more to let me put it another way. Happiness is not an experience, but it's also non-phenomenal.
Right.
Non-objective.
Circumstantial.
It doesn't depend on circumstances, and it's non-phenomenal, meaning it does not depend on names and forms. It does not. It stands on its own. It is non-phenomenal. While pleasure and pain are phenomenal, meaning they relate to certain, they're more at the mind level. They relate to certain experiences. You could have pleasurable experiences and painful experiences. Stubbing your toe in the corner of a table, that's a painful experience. Having a nice meal when you're hungry is a pleasurable experience. So pleasure and pain relate to the body mind, and they're what we say they're phenomenal. They relate to the realm of mind. Happiness does not. So there is something that causes pain and pleasure. You could get pain, when you have toothache, and you can get pleasure when you have some chocolate ice cream, if you like chocolate ice cream. So there is something that causes pleasure and pain. But happiness has no causality. There's nothing that causes it. It is revealed to us when the clouds of ignorance are dispelled. Mm-hmm. In other words, when the clouds separate, we see the sky that's always been there. Our true nature is always there. It's never not there. And it is there knowingly when the belief in separation, the belief that I am the mortal body mind is killed. Put it another way, we get glimpses of our true nature when the clouds part. When the clouds part, like you're looking at the sky, there is a little break in the clouds, you can see the sky. When the clouds come back, you don't see the sky anymore, or you see a small piece of the sky. But to see the entire sky, then the clouds have to be completely gone. So the sense of being a person, being somebody, being a man, a woman, being a mortal body, mind, sometimes it dispels. We get glimpses into our true nature, which is peace and happiness. And then the sense of personal self comes back. And our true nature of peace and happiness is veiled to us. But every time the clouds separate and we experience our true nature, there is an impact. It has an impact. It has an effect on dispelling ignorance. Ignorance gets like a virus, is like an antivirus is working on the virus slowly. Every time the clouds part, the medicine is working behind the scene. Yeah. So sometimes some people feel, oh my God, I had an experience of my true nature 2 years ago and it went away. What happened? I want it back. It's natural for the mind to objectify the experience. And now the clouds are saying, oh, the sky is a beautiful, beautiful, huge, 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 huge blue cloud. So the mind objectifies consciousness and turns it into an experience. It's a normal process. But as we dive deeper into our contemplation, we realize that consciousness, awareness is not an experience. It is the reality of all experiences. It is the reality of being that which in this moment is that which truly perceives, that which is absolute, the absoluteness of being awareness, isness, knowingness, being awareness, Satchitananda. Okay, well, it's time. So thank you all for your lovely company during this meeting. So thank you, John and Kelly, Alexandra, Caroline, Elsa,
Thank you,
and
Meg.
Esther. Thank you, John and George and Gita.
Thank you, Meg.
Thank you.
Holly and Frederic and John and Trish. I cannot see everybody, but so whoever whose name I missed, thank you all.
Thank you, Magdi.
Also,
Thank you.
much
Thank
love.
you.
Yes.